doesn't capture. Hey, doesn't matter.
It don't matter what they say, we gon' talk anyway. Bell rings, mic check, let the real ones play. From the legends to the new blood climbing the ladder. Welcome to the show, it doesn't matter. Notorious Dome set the tone, main event status. BDC bring the fire, every take savage. Strap facts with the knowledge, history splatter. Poppy planting no wild cards, say it loud, it doesn't matter. No filter, no bias. This is the It Doesn't Matter podcast.
We're back. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the It Doesn't Matter podcast. I'm your host. I'm Notorious when I am Dom. I'm here with BDC. I'm here with the man that chose tonight's topic, Strap Facts. Tonight, we're going to talk about a 5-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion. We're going to talk about a tag team legend. We're going to talk about a King of the Ring winner. We're going to talk about a World Heavyweight Champion. And we're going to talk about the man that made the Spinner Rooney, real famous. We're talking about King Booker T. Strap Facts, BDC, what's going on?
What's good, homie? Sucker.
What's good?
Tell me he didn't just say that.
Yeah, Poppy Plotno, he's on hiatus at the moment, but it's all good. You know how we do. We're going to make it happen. So this is Strap Facts Choice. He want to talk about Booker T. Strap, out of all the wrestlers in the world, why'd you choose the 5-time WCW champion? Why'd you choose Booker T?
It's probably his birthday or something, but that's I digress, Cole. Booker T, you know, he's a notorious person, a notorious figure, character in pro wrestling since I started watching, and it was definitely one of my favorites. If I buy merchandise with your gimmick or your name on it, you gotta be over, man. And you know, being selective about it, it's like one t-shirt I got, there used to be a website, Figures Inc. or Wrestling Superstore. They're still around. But they used to sell a lot of stuff. And I liked the his Titantron in the WWFE. And I don't know, the logo, the font, whatever. So there's this t-shirt of his on that website. It wasn't in Shop Zone or anything like that. It just says very basically, "Can you dig it, sucker?" And on the back, Booker T. It's like, that's all I needed. That's all I wanted. And as a quick aside, you know, one time I was visiting a friend at work, and the coworker, his name was Chuck Potter. He's like, I was wearing a jean jacket. He's like, "Hey, what's your shirt say?" And I was like, "What do you think it says?" And he says, "It looks like dick suck." And I was like, "Can you dig it, sucker?" So there you go. So I love that t-shirt. I have no idea where it is. Otherwise, I'd be wearing it. It's very worn. It does say World Wrestling Federation on it. But that's just a cool random memory I have of Booker T, just to show you, the people, the fans, and BDC and Dom yourselves, that I am a longtime Booker T fan.
All right, well, since you're a longtime Booker T fan, I got a hot take for you. Booker T should have won at WrestleMania 19 against Triple H.
I don't think it's a hot take at all. I think it's the right take, because he should have, and the only reason he didn't is because of some guy named Bill Goldberg. That is what I believe. I don't know. I've never heard that anywhere else, but that's the conclusion I came up with, is WrestleMania 19. You know, they made a promo that night saying, he's next. He's coming. Bill Goldberg. And it's like, I believe that Triple H at the time, who does not have a good reputation in the wrestling community and the fan circles as a politician, a divisive topic always. But I believe he politicked Vince McMahon or the booking team and said, "Hey, I know I'm supposed to drop the title to Booker T. Like, I'm really supposed to drop the title, but how about, since we got this guy coming in, I'm going to work with this guy. He doesn't know how to work. I can work with him because I'm the game, Triple H. So why don't we delay the Booker T title win, and I'll have Goldberg chase me." And what happened? That's what happened on the Raw brand at the time. Goldberg chased Triple H all year long to varying degrees of success, and Booker T was left to the wayside.
You think WWE dropped the ball at the time?
I mean, what would have changed, really? It's like, it's kind of, I mean, it's always hard to go in the time machine and change things. But, you know, we remember the good things. We remember the righteous things. You know, we're glad that, you know, that we're glad that Chris Benoit won at WrestleMania 20 and not the month later in where's he from? Edmonton.
Montreal, Edmonton.
Yeah. So we're glad, you know, that was the rumor at the time. It's like, you know, we're going to, you know, the crowning moment at WrestleMania 20, Benoit wins the title finally. You know what? Why don't we delay it a month, make the fans savor it more, and we'll put it in his hometown of Edmonton. Man, F that noise. Have him win it at WrestleMania.
That would have been ass.
You know?
That would have been ass.
They've done things like that over history, and that's just one example, you know, or what if, I don't know the scenario what would have been for Kofi Kingston, but can you imagine him losing to Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 35? Come on, man. It's like his title reign, you know, it was you know, it was what it was. It ended terribly, but you know, he got a title run out of it. But you know, what if they delayed the Kofi Mania, the apex of Kofi Mania at WrestleMania? That would have sucked too. So Booker T at WrestleMania 19, man, he was all set to win the title. Who knows how long he would have held it or what they would have done with it, but he should have won it then and there based on the terrible storyline they were involved in as well. But hey, it didn't happen. But you know, his time wasn't over. His time would come later under different circumstances.
So, go ahead.
Well, to that point, I mean, you talked about failed scenarios. I mean, imagine if Cody Rhodes had won the Royal Rumble and then went on to WrestleMania and lost to Roman Reigns. Oh, wait, that shit happened. So bad, in fact, they had to do it again the next year. So, yeah, it was bad booking at the time, and I think the worst part of it was that as a result of that, it's like, yeah, he eventually became world champion. He never got a chance to actually be WWE champion, which I would have loved to have seen him actually hold the WWE strap. But, you know, it was he would have had a pretty decent run. And I think that maybe one of the thinking heads at the time was that, hey, do we really want Booker T, this guy who was a WCW guy, being world champion, and now Goldberg, who's this uber over WCW guy coming in? Do we really want two WCW guys vying for the world championship on Raw at this point? You know, Vince had a bit of a thing against giving any type of WCW wrestlers any type of shine after he bought them. So I could imagine, even if you go and say, okay, we'll put the strap on Booker T, but now Goldberg's gonna chase him, so there's gonna be completely no WWE guys in the mix. Yeah, okay. I didn't see that happening. It could very much be politics, like Strap said. It could very much be that. I think it may have also been the fact that Vince simply didn't want two WCW guys running programs for that title when you had WWE guys on roster, obviously.
He definitely didn't have a problem with Triple H beating a handful of WCW guys in a row.
Not at all. Not at all.
My God, he beat the entire Main Event Mafia of WCW, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, speaking of WCW, Booker T carried WCW in 2000. He was the guy to represent that company right there. Do you think that this was his time, or should have been somebody else in the year 2000, since he was his final champion of WCW?
Well, WCW was just a giant mess, you know, around the March-April timeframe. That's when, you know, they stopped whatever they're doing because, you know, they didn't have a booker. You know, funny enough, right? You know, it goes back to, you know, Benoit and the Radicals leaving WCW. It goes back to that January. You know, they had Kevin Sullivan was the temporary booker. This whole mess where Eric Bischoff was ousted from power, and to save the company, they even brought in, or they had brought to television Eric Bischoff and Vinny Rue. And that was just a nightmare scenario. And, it continued until, they were both ousted in various manners. But the final good thing that Vince Russo could have done was pick a guy, a Booker T guy, and have him win the title under very suspect circumstances at the Bash at the Beach. But was he the right guy? Absolutely. I remember hearing the stories of how, Booker T, and just think of the WCW locker room, just a giant mess of personalities, top guys fighting top guys, lower level guys, mid-card guys not being able to go anywhere. And here you have Booker T, at the time, just showing up in a suit every day, or at least a nice button down. I don't know about a suit jacket, but he showed up professional, looked professional, and just showed he was a hard worker. He tried his hardest every single time he was out there. It's like, never mind all these meatheads that, that are just stealing a paycheck. This guy wants it. This guy deserves a shot. And so I don't see any problem whatsoever with Booker T being the man for WCW in 2000.
Think of it this way. How many top guys in WCW in 2000 ended up in the NWO? The answer is all of them. Literally all of them. So at that point, you need somebody who has been loyal to WCW from the onset, quote unquote. And Booker T was the guy that was getting that singles push and was making that rise. So he was the natural choice for it. He was that guy at that point, and it was literally almost by default, because literally, like I said, everyone else was involved in that NWO angle at one point in time, whether they were Hollywood or they were in the Wolfpack. They were all in it at some point, and he was never there. So I think that when things were really falling apart, they needed somebody to hitch their wagon to. He ended up being that guy.
Him and Paige, another one that didn't join the NWO.
Paige is a little self-righteous. He's like, I never joined the NWO. It's like, man, you turned heel though, and you had a Jersey Triad. Yeah. Same thing. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, he became the Insiders?
Well,
him and Kevin Nash?
Yeah, it's just...
Whoever was going to be the tallest one in a rental car. That's what their real name should have been.
Oh, man.
Steve Austin, that's a story he always told about Diamond Dallas Page when they were, riding together in 93, 94. He's like, Diamond Dallas Page is the tallest 6'5" guy I've ever seen in my life. Like, Steve, I gotta get in the passenger seat. I gotta stretch my legs out. It's like, motherfucker. Kevin Nash is hunched up in the back seat. Shut your damn mouth. And then Rick Rude's there. Don't take the Lord's name in vain, Steve.
Yeah.
What is that old show on the network? Not Table for Three, but the driving one. Remember that?
Yeah.
Ride
Along.
Was it
Ride Along?
Something like that. That's Kevin Hart movie, but
I know
it was something.
Yeah.
It was something. Yeah.
I love that. I did love Table for Three. So that was fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Booker T, my guy. I was a big fan of Booker T growing up.
Likewise.
Because he was, he was a brother, had a do-rag, doing a spinneroni.
I was a big fan of Cole and G.I. Bro.
Cole, King, G.I. Bro. They're from Harlem. There's some tough dudes.
Yeah, man.
Come to find out they're really from Houston. Oh, man. But Booker T, he was in WCW. He was homegrown. He was, what's another word for a one-trick pony? Like, he didn't, his character didn't evolve until he got to WWE, basically.
Well,
ouch.
that hurts.
I'm not even trying to make it sound negative,
but
he was all about business.
He was very one note.
He was all about business in WCW.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Yes.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
he when he got to WWE, he had some personality, and then when he won the King of the Ring, he became King Booker, and that's probably one of his best gimmicks of all time.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's his best version of Booker T right there.
Yeah. Yeah. King Booker was something special. I think that Main Event Mafia Booker T was hilarious, but yeah, King Booker was definitely the best incarnation of him, period. Full stop. It just was.
What do you think, Strap? Regular book, Main Event Mafia book, or King Booker?
You gotta come up with a name for not the pre-show, but the little chatter we have before we film this It Doesn't Matter podcast. I was mentioning to Dom that just in the last hour and a half, I started watching a few Booker T matches just to get in the mood for this show. And since I didn't get to finish the story, Cody, I'll finish the story now. So
Lord.
I watched a couple of different matches. The first one I wanted to check out was him versus Triple H in SummerSlam 07. I think I don't. Did he wrestle in WWE when he came back or in NXT? I'm not sure. I don't think so. So if that must have been his last WWE match.
I don't think NXT at all.
Who
Booker T. Booker T came back in
T.
2011, and he's been a commentator pretty much.
He can't.
Right?
Yeah, I mean he had his
sporadic matches. I want to say.
Yeah, I was about to say he had his Rumble return, and
that was basically
then it was
yeah. But his
we was there.
Major singles match, and I want to know more backstory to it, but he left right after that. I think he failed like a wellness test, and that thing is always suspect. He's like, you know what? I ain't getting suspended. Screw this. I'm out of here. I'm not really sure. I don't know the specifics of that, but that was his last match in WWE and he went to TNA. But I watched that match back just to, it was in 07. It was a long time ago, guys, and to compare that to his WrestleMania match, some quick things to say is that they had no chemistry. Triple H was just coming off injury. It was not a very good match for two veterans of the business like that. And it was just a showcase for Triple H to have a win on his return. So booking wise, it's fine for what it was. I also I want to check out a WCW match, something I hadn't seen, something that was on a pay-per-view, there's many you could choose from. You could pick, him versus, Scott Steiner or Kevin Nash in 2000 or Rick Martel, Super Brawl.
Just don't pick him versus Stevie Ray. That match was horrible.
With
the debut on Big T. Jesus.
If Booker T versus Big T showed up, I might have clicked on that, but it did not. Well, I want to choose something that I probably hadn't seen, so I searched for Booker T Thunder, and it was a match with him versus Kurt Hennig. So watching this in reverse, watching 07 book to watching 1999 book, and then I found a random one. Excuse me. Him in WWE, early WWE. So I was like, maybe there's a match of him on Sunday Night Heat. So I typed in Booker T Heat, and after scrolling through one page of shoot interviews, I found one with him versus Val Venus on Sunday Night Heat, and this was right before WrestleMania X8, and it was just a match, him and Val Venus, and I enjoyed that as well. So that showed different levels of Booker T. I don't know, this show is about Booker T, so let's just talk about Booker T. His style of wrestling, I mean, they age, they get older, they get more injuries, they don't move the same. So 2007 Booker T, even though crummy booking, maybe whatever, various reasons, that match wasn't very good. It wasn't the Booker T I remember. It's like, it's just okay. Like, whatever. And he's also a heel, right? So, I also watched one of him versus AJ Styles on Impact. Whatever. So then you flash let's go to that. You go to him versus AJ Styles in the main event of Impact, and it's just a TV match. Those are just throwaways. I'm like, I know Booker T didn't like his time in TNA, so I'm just trying to see, is he even trying? Is he even giving an effort? And it doesn't look like he's dogging it. He's doing all right with AJ, and of course it's angle based, and they had Christian Cage there interfering and stuff like that. Sharmell was at ringside, and again, he's still a heel. It was okay. It was fine. One time I heard, Booker T, was booked to wrestle Chris Jericho in like 98 in WCW, and Booker T's like, I ain't wrestling no cruiserweight Chris Jericho. It's like so not judgmental, but biased. He's like, I ain't wrestling a cruiserweight. I ain't no cruiserweight. Even though him and Jericho are probably really good friends, I would imagine. So there's that TNA book, 2007 book. Not the best Booker T, physically, athletically. So we're gonna go to Booker T versus Kurt Hennig in '99 or 2000. Booker T, that's at the time when he was moving a lot. He was juking and jiving a lot because he was still like Dom was saying, like he was a serious Booker T. So his trying to mimic like a kickboxer fighting style. He's always juking and moving, and it's so much energy, man, so much.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because he didn't have all that dreadlocks hanging off his head. He had the buzz cut. He had the Ernie Hudson going. So Booker T was a maniac wrestling Kurt Hennig here. He was just all over the place, full of energy, so young. We feel like he's old now, but he was just so much energy back at that time. It's like, oh, that's the Booker T I remember. Yeah, I like that. This guy deserves a push. And then throw it in there, that Sunday Night Heat match with Val Venus, 2002. That's around that time is actually my favorite Booker T. And that's that T-shirt. That's when that T-shirt was around. Like, I love that Booker T. He had the best mix of that super young energy, athletic Kurt Hennig match Booker T. And he was also developing the WWF character style, the big eyes, the looking at the hand all the time. He's probably got that Vince McMahon in his ear. With Vince, give him the credit. He's very good at hyping a guy up and saying, "You could give me what you got, give me everything you got." And Booker T's like, "Man, look, I have a reputation, man. I'm already a 5-time WCW champion. I main evented the other company. Like, you don't need to motivate me. I'm already motivated, man." Vince, whoever, pulled this out of Booker T and fleshed him out. We know you got the in-ring tools. We know you got the athleticism. Let's see the character. It's Vince McMahon Russo character. So 2002, 2003 Booker T. That's Booker T figuring him out. And what's funny? I'll give you the finish of that Val Venus match. So Val Venus goes for the money shot, the big splash off the top. Booker T gets the knees up. Booker T does a spinneroonie up, does the wheel kick, whatever. Then he pins Val Venus. No bookend. He already did the axe kick. I'm like, man, this guy.
He did this crescent kick, the side kick.
The crescent kick. He did that. He, took Val, the former Intercontinental Champion, out in no time flat. And it's like, yeah, that's the book I like, man. That young Booker T. Yeah. So they put that on NBC and Peacock. Young Booker T.
Yeah, so when I was thinking about, like, what are my favorite Booker T matches? Yes, I do like WCW Booker T.
Right.
Once he started getting to the his singles role, and I was like, oh yeah, he was the TV champ. And then it just hit me. I was like, oh shit, he had a best of 7 series with Chris Benoit.
Yes, he did.
That's when you seen Booker T definitely start turning it up right there, and it just showed that he can hang with the greats.
Yep,
I was a fan of that. And then my bad. I was gonna say him and Jeff Jarrett going back and forth in 2000. Jeff, I didn't like at the time, but
where's his guitar at?
Oil and Vinegar, yeah,
it's in the back, Jack.
Yeah, it's right there, right behind China.
what a combo. Like watching the Kurt Hennig match, I'm like, all right, I love like Booker T wrestled Kurt Hennig. Booker T. Is that from the Hard Rock Cafe? Booker T wrestled Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig. Booker T wrestled the Hitman Bret Hart. I mean, he wrestled everybody. He wrestled Chris Benoit. He wrestled
another good match.
Kurt Angle. Yeah. He's wrestled all the greats, man. So you just gotta ask him, like, hey, Book, you wrestled Mr. Perfect and Kurt Angle. Who better? And you wrestled Canyon too. Who better? So I like doing things like that, like someone who, like the Giant, the Big Show, Paul White. He's chokeslammed the Ultimate Warrior, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Batista, Roman Reigns. Man, that dude had put a hand on everybody. You remember this?
Yeah.
I like doing things like that. It's like this guy wrestled the 6 degrees of separation. This guy wrestled this guy, who wrestled this guy, who wrestled this guy. So
I'm surprised that you didn't mention his match against Batista, King Booker versus Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship.
It's a sore subject. So yeah, you really like the King Booker. I didn't.
Nah.
So I didn't like. I mean, it was fine. It got on the world title. I didn't like it because it wasn't the Booker T that I already liked. But he had to change it up. He had to mix it up because what was he doing before that? He let Kurt Angle have raw, animalistic relations with Charmel. That's the kind of angle he was in, man. So yeah, change it up to be Booker T. Then he went off the rails with it in TNA. I mean, admittedly, I didn't really actually watch TNA at that time.
Oh no,
but it's legendary.
Booker T will always be laughingly remembered for being outside the ring with the Mafia. He is on the mic commentating and kicking ass at the same time. And he's
what was his name? What was the name he was saying?
He's like, Booker T over here kicking up. Booker T go throw a punch here. Booker T go throw another kick here. I'm like, this.
Hey, it was a place to have fun and mix it up.
Yeah, he was absolutely hilarious in that role on TNA. Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from with Book, because it seems like with most everybody, once you come into WWF, WWE, and especially in the Vince era, it's kind of died down a little bit now, not by much, but you come in and it's like, now we want you to wrestle our style, so you got to slow it down a little bit. You got to focus on these sets of moves. You got to make sure you hitting these moves every match, no matter what. Like the Spinneroonie was a more or less a counter in WCW. Like he would do the axe kick and then immediately go right into the Spinneroonie as his kind of kip up. That would be what he'd do. But then in WWE, all of a sudden it was its own move where he's getting down on a knee, he's doing all this, and then he breaks into the Spinneroonie for no reason at all in the middle of a match.
I hate when they spin around it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on. Never mind, that's Mark Madden.
But that's literally what it became, and guys kind of lose their best version of themselves at times when they're kind of forced into this box of what they can and cannot do. And I think that kind of, to your point, that's kind of where that WCW Booker T kind of went to die.
Yeah.
So I get it, and I hear you on that. I do hear you on that. Like, as I said, character wise, King Booker was it for me. But as far as pure talent and pure getting it done in the ring, I gotta agree with Strap that his WCW days, especially when he was getting the push in the late '90s, was his best time. And his early run before he became King Booker in WWE, he really established a character.
Yeah, my man, he was all about it. Like I said, he was legit.
Yeah.
He was so focused. He was so hungry. Him and his brother and sister Sherry, we take what we want. Hulk Hogan, we going for you, nigga.
Yeah, that's why every time they lost the tag match or lost the titles, it was because of Stevie Ray forgetting that there was a tag team match going on and he was off fighting somebody else.
He just kept a straight face. He's like, we hear this every day. This ain't nothing new.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, he cut that promo and just kept on going like professional. And then he's like,
yeah,
call myself.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
Sherry's like, it's okay, baby. It's okay.
Yeah. Sherry's like, you're going to be all right, baby. You're going to be all right.
Let's just be glad Booker T wasn't hosting a show on HGTV and had a blooper. That's all we got to say. It might have been okay, actually, honestly.
Oh, man.
One thing I wanted to mention is like, this is like the best example. I've mentioned it in different forms, how in WWE, the old WWE, they would do something with you where they would test you, I don't know, your loyalty, your endurance, not physical endurance, but your capacity to do things and then recover from them. What I mean is like one of my favorite WrestleMania matches, Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. You know, like Sami Zayn's like, if you survive, I mean, you survive this ridiculous angle and you look like an idiot. If you can climb out of that and still be a main eventer, a success, then you have truly earned it. You know, what did he do? He was, before last year, he did something Phil Brooks could never do in main event WrestleMania. And he did with Kevin Owens versus the Usos. That's one example, you know. So the one I always go back to, or one of the ones I go back to, is like Booker T versus the Boogeyman at WrestleMania that year in Chicago. And come on, man, it's the Boogeyman. I think Booker helped train, or maybe he mentored, even though Boogeyman might have been older.
Boogeyman was older.
Hey, worms. Marty, you have intestinal problems because I eat worms. Yeah, you should probably stop doing that. I can't. That's what I do. Okay. But yeah, you know, I mean, the Boogeyman, he was on a roll, he was over, and he beat JBL, Booker T, beat lots of people, you know, until they got tired of him. But yeah, Booker T had to survive that WrestleMania moment and give it to Marty, give it to Boogeyman. And he did survive that. Because what did that lead to? It lead to him beating Rey Mysterio at the Great American Bash for the World Heavyweight title. The title that eluded him since WrestleMania 19. He was finally a version of a WWE World Champion. And yes, he did hold it for, you know, SmackDown was a very odd thing back in the day because, you know, Raw, the flagship show, the one they cared about, and SmackDown was just the redheaded stepchild to the side, right? So, but that gave a chance because Vince didn't pay as much attention to SmackDown. So that let people, if they could handle it, they would run the show. Booker T ran the show. You know, he was the main guy up until, you know, the Survivor Series that year. And then he lost it to Big Dave. You know, a lot of injuries and things like that, a lot of mix-ups. You know, Undertaker was doing his own thing, but, you know, Eddie Guerrero passed away. Batista was hurt. Kurt Angle had a broken freaking neck. You know, they were in flux. And he didn't really like Rey Mysterio. Vince didn't really like Rey Mysterio as champion. So he went with the Booker Man. And, you know, he had that long title reign. Was it overdue, perhaps? Yes, very much so. Why did this version of Booker T, from my perspective, why did this version of Booker T have to be the world champion? Why couldn't the 2003 Booker T be the world champion? But you can't pick and choose, right? And, yeah, he had a good feud with Big Dave Batista, and they had some real life heat as well. I'm sure it's all squared away now, but that helped feed into their storyline. So another memorable program for Booker T. But yeah, I mean, I'd go back and watch those matches too. You know, they just weren't my particular favorites, but I don't think there's anything wrong with them either. So, and yeah, I was thinking, I was like, what did he do at the 2007 WrestleMania? Turns out he was in the Money in the Bank match. So there you go. His last WrestleMania of his main run, he was in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Shucky ducky quack quack.
Yep. And while his legacy, good thing he has a great legacy because I'm not really a fan of what he's doing. Admittedly, I don't watch NXT. I'm not really a fan of his commentary right now. Not like I've ever heard it, but I hear things about it. And there's a lot of controversy about that as well, but we're not really talking about that unless you want to. We're talking about
I like it. Like some things that he says on commentary. I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry.
Especially since he hated him initially. That is hilarious.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Booker is a character. He is he's definitely one of the kind. They said the way you see him on TV, that's how he is at home. All amped up.
Oh man.
You ever seen him in LFG? You ever watch that show?
I don't think anyone watches that show now.
I watched the first season. Free subscription. Then they
How
canceled.
bored are you?
Taking notes.
No, I didn't watch that. You know, I did watch him on the 2011 revival of Tough Enough with him and Trish Stratus, and that's all I can remember. You know,
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Yep.
That whole stuff. But yeah, you know, Booker T is, you know, hopefully he's on NXT every week. I hope he's doing well.
Yep.
And like I said, he's got a great legacy in wrestling as a serious competitor, as a commentator. You know, he runs the gamut. He can do any and everything. And you know, just like his in his time in TNA, I mean, he came in serious. You know, his first feud was with the glorious Bobby Roode, the It Factor, Bobby Roode. But I can't really recall. I mean, yeah, he joined the Main Event Mafia, and he had a little thing with Samoa Joe for a time. But I don't know. Like I said, not too much. I don't know too much about his TNA run, but there's nothing that compelled me to go find it. So that's where that comes from. You know, but he made his way out, and then he made his grand return at the largest Royal Rumble for its time, the 40-man Royal Rumble match in 2011. Made one hell of a surprise return there, and he faced off with the Nexus. I thought he was going to face actually either, you know, Cody Rhodes that year in Atlanta. That didn't happen. He started doing his commentary career there, and he still got some in-ring action. He did a spinneroonie. I think he popped his shoulder out doing it, and then Stone Cold stunned him for good measure.
Yep.
So that was the WrestleMania moment there. But there's always a smile on someone's face when Booker T is around, and that includes all of us, I believe. So,
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, this is pretty good. We're gonna wrap this up. Booker T, multiple WCW championships, one of the greatest tag teams of all time with his brother Stevie Ray, Harlem Heat, King of the Ring winner, World Heavyweight Champion, a Hall of Famer. My question for you guys is, does he get the respect that he deserves in the WWE from his legacy and his business?
Well, I like to think that he does. I appreciated the fact that when New Day was going to take his record, they were going to take his record, I guess, for tag team championships, total number of tag team championships, that they made it a point to bring him on and talk to him about it. So they did acknowledge his legacy in that regard. I think that a lot of what he does in NXT now keeps him in the eyes and the minds of people who knew of him, and even people who didn't know who he was, to at least check to see what he did back in the day. So I think that's a good look too. So I would say yes, but it's more like 60-40 versus like 100% zero. Because I think there are certain things that they could have possibly done for him when he was wrestling, to give him a bigger legacy than what he's got. But you know, it is what it is. It's the nature of the business, and you know, certain things left unsaid. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I think they're 60-40 that they're doing right by his legacy.
Strap.
I think he's doing. I think they're doing fine. They're not like shoving it down your throats of his history. Maybe they are on NXT. I don't know, but I think the best legacy you can do is to have people like Booker T, or and especially with Shawn Michaels there as well. Shawn Michaels he just showed up. You could have treated Booker T like a Shawn Michaels, where he would just come in randomly, be the Hall of Famer, and with a great reputation in the business, and does a guest referee here, does a commissioner here, a general manager here, or you can be there every week in the grind, constantly helping the next generation, the young talent. Booker T already did that with his wrestling school, the reality of wrestling. Yep. I mean, and now he gets to do it with an association with WWE via NXT. I don't know how many of his students are there, but one for sure, Roxy, whatever her name is,
Roxanne
Perez. She was Roxy in Ring of Honor when I first saw her. So that's probably one of his best examples right now. She's doing a great job on the main roster. So his legacy is constantly still going strong. That he's visibly, publicly helping the next generation of WWE superstars be the best that they can be.
Yep, indeed.
Damn right, Booker T. He's doing what he's supposed to do. On to the next generation. So we got from G.I. Bro, King Booker, all the gimmicks that he did, TNA years. He put on the show. He entertained for us. We all dig it. Sucker.
You just needed to add that in there, huh?
Had to.
You just had to add it in there.
Yeah, so that wraps up Booker T. But next week, we're actually going to do a show. We're going to take it back to 1995, WCW Uncensored. I'm going to run through the card. I can't wait to go over this because when we first started talking about matches we want to go over, this match right here, definitely I want to talk about. All right. In our opening match, we have the King of the Road match between the Blacktop Bully, who's going in the Hall of Fame, and he's taking on Dustin Rhodes. And this is the match that Dustin Rhodes got fired off of.
You know,
King of the Road match.
Like when I first got into wrestling and I was like a sponge. I absorbed everything I could. Go to Stop and Shop in Waterford. And they had WCW trading cards. You know, I bought all of them, one at a time, but I bought as many as I could, right? And there's so many people on there that I never heard of, I would never hear of, and all that stuff. Like Evad Sullivan. Who the hell is that? Dave Sullivan, Kevin Sullivan's brother. Like, okay, great. The big boss man known as
Big Bubba.
Hell's
Ray
Angels
Trailer.
or something like that. You know,
The Guardian Angel.
Yeah, right. The Guardian Angel.
They said they're stunning Steve Austin, and they have a trading card with like wrestling hold, and one of them's called the Hollywood and Vine, the figure 4 leg lock. Like, okay. And one of them was the Blacktop Bully. I'm like, who's this mother effer? Jesus.
Barry Darso.
So that they were there, but they got fired.
One of the many incarnations of Barry Darso. Yep.
What a man.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought the Repo Man would be going into the WWE Hall of Fame? God damn.
I dig it. All right. Our next match, we have a martial arts match with Meng taking on Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
The hell?
All right. After this, we have a boxing match with Johnny B. Bad taking on Arn Anderson.
I think I swear to God, I watched this show before for this show, and I probably skipped all this shit. So now I gotta watch it. Now I gotta to Hogan and Vader.
Jesus.
Oh man! After this, we have Macho Man Randy Savage taking on Avalanche.
Man, that's Earthquake trading card. That's Earthquake. Why is it called Avalanche? That's a stupid name.
All right. After this, we have Big Bubba Rogers taking on Sting.
That should be good.
Yeah.
And then we have a Falls Count Anywhere match. We have the Nasty Boys taking on Harlem Heat.
Okay.
Man of the hour.
Man of the hour, indeed.
And then in your main event, we have a leather strap match between Hulk Hogan taking on Vader.
I hope it's a Yappa Pie Indian strap match.
Yappa. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for next week.
I always at home alone, I always break out into impressions of lots of wrestlers, but most of them are Hulk Hogan. And it's funny, like the common phrases he would say or promos you've seen, he says things like, I remember the one, it was one of the ones you downloaded off like Kazaa back in the day. It's just Hogan talking about the Yappa Pie Indian strap match, brother. And then I didn't know what else to say. So I'm talking like regular words. And I'm like, Hogan would never say that. I'm like, well, the Yappa Pie, brother, So anyway, Uncensored and awesome.
I'll never forget when Hogan was inside the Dungeon of Doom. Ah, it's cold. You only touch the wall.
He was feeling so cold, he should have done his warm-ups.
Oh, man. Next
It's gonna
week
be a wild
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Uncensored. We're gonna be uncensored next week.
My goodness.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
You ever
It's
seen that show, BDC?
It's gonna be a whole lot of what the boop.
Have you ever seen the show?
Once a long time ago. I have not seen it in about 15 years. Yeah. I think I saw it within a year when it actually happened, but I have not seen it again since. So I'm gonna have to go back, and I'll tell you for sure after I watched it. Like, oh yeah, I definitely saw this, or no, I didn't see it, and sounds like I'm glad I didn't.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
so to tune in to Uncensored 1995 is on the WWE YouTube page, WCW Vaults. Right there, Uncensored 1995 in full. Check it out.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'm Notorious. I am Dom. I'm here with BDC. I'm here with Strap Facts and Poppy Platinum. He might be here next week. If not, it doesn't matter because we're having some special guests with us next week as well. Ringside.
Ringside.
Who's the other one? Easy E? E Money?
Whatever he wants to be called. Eric will be on next week as well.
Blacktop E. The Blacktop E. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week. Sucker. Boom.